Hello and welcome to another We Interview video here on Gamingtrend.com. My name is Adam Marino, and today we have a chance to talk to a comic book legend, Joe
Yay.
Staton, known for everything from creating Huntress and co-creating the Omega Men to working on legendary titles such as Justice Society, Green Lantern, Superboy and the Legion of the Superheroes, Doom Patrol, and a longtime artist for the Dick Tracy clip in the newspaper, and more.
Newspaper.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yay. Thank you so much for
Yay.
joining us. So first of all, let's begin by asking a terribly difficult question. I know that it's a terribly difficult question. Do you have a favorite series or character that you've drawn throughout your career in comics?
Oh my. Well, it always comes back to E-Man for Charlton I did with Nick Cuddy, and then to the Huntress. Still got a lot of affection for her. So it's between those two. I can't really pick between the two, but
Hey, I think that picking two is fair with how many characters you've introduced into the world.
a few.
Just a couple, just a couple. I think it's fair that you get two.
Yeah.
So I would be remiss not to ask you about Kilowog, as I have quite a few friends that are huge fans of the Green Lantern series. What was the process of making that character, producing the art, making all of that? How did that work for you?
Well, that is a weird process. Not a weird process, but that it had so little process. Steve Englehart was revamping the Green Lantern Corps, getting a bunch of aliens on Earth to work together, and we had characters like Drac and Aricia, a bunch of them. But the one who's kind of lasted the best is Kilowog. And people ask me what was the process coming up with Kilowog. And the thing was, I had a script from Steve and said, we need a big, lovable character. He looks very threatening, but he's really a good guy. And that's it. That's all Steve gave me. I saw Steve this past summer, and I asked him, there had to be more to it than that. And he says, no, no. Uh, it's just a kind of threatening looking guy who's really a good guy, and that's it. And I, for some reason, I came up with this character, this drawing. But what stuck with me, and I tell a lot of people this, is that I hear what I see Kilowog. I hear the voice of Ernest Borgnine. I like to hear voices of characters,
Wow.
and that's what really that's what brings Kilowog to life is the voice I hear in my head, and he's really gruff sounding, but he's not that threatening. So yeah, that's go with the voice.
That's so interesting that you put a voice that you recognize into a character that you're drawing. I really like that.
Yeah, and if you, he's not as popular, but Salak was
Yeah.
one of the characters created at the same time. And that's when Magnum PI was on, and there was this little English guy who dealt with Magnum, was always very grumpy, and that's the voice I heard for some.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's so neat. I love the idea that you do that while you're drawing. That's really
I
cool.
do. I hear them talking to me while I'm drawing.
That's gotta be interesting. That's gotta be interesting. Now, throughout your career, you've worked with some of the most legendary characters in comics. Was there a character that was particularly challenging or annoying for you to draw?
Golly. Um, I, I did some work for the Marvel black and white books. Way back when, and what I think it was in an Iron Fist story. A character called Jack of Hearts. Uh, was a character, and his costume was based on a deck of cards. And
Oh
so
no.
whatever angle you took him from, you had to keep those cards being uh, uh, displayed and clear. So yeah, he was definitely a hard one to come up with.
I can imagine, especially hand drawing everything, like a deck of cards being your
Right?
costume is not the easiest thing to translate.
Yeah, and
That's
I
so cool.
I think only George Perez could actually master that character, but I tried.
Hey, that's more than most people get, right?
Yep.
So you're known as a writer, a penciler, and an inker. So you're truly a triple threat. Is there an aspect of comics that is your favorite to work with, and or is it just the full process that you enjoy doing?
I pretty much enjoy the whole process. Sometimes I've inked other people. Sometimes I've had people ink me. Sometimes I've done the whole thing, and I enjoy the whole process. Get it all together, and sometimes just do parts of it. I like how comics are done, so yeah, I'll go at it from any angle.
That's phenomenal. The so while I was at Spring Into Comics, that was where we got to meet in person, and I found this book to get you to sign.
Yep.
And you said it was one of your favorites.
Yes, we were
Uh,
talking about Huntress, and you found her there.
yeah, I found this was the only one of this issue that I could find while I was there at the con. And is there a reason that Justice Society is one of your favorites, and why Huntress keeps coming up as one of your favorite characters?
Well, the Justice Society was definitely one of my favorites, and it worked out well that DC had been printing I guess there were 100-page reprint books, just kind of filler for things on the newsstand, and a lot of they were going back to the 40s to get stories, information on like the old Green Lantern, the old Flash, the way the characters were in the 40s. They've been completely redone for the 60s, 70s. But so when it was time, Jerry Conway, I guess, brought back the Justice Society, and he brought back all those characters. So I had been reading those reprints stories and knew who they were, and I really liked those characters. And I was coming in after Wally Wood, and it seemed to me that Wally Wood had like a totally different take on the reality of the superheroes that he was doing. It was that 1940s look, and that's what I was trying to do. So I had these characters from the 40s, and there was some knowledge of their history, their ages. They were a lot of them were like um, at least middle aged, maybe a little more than that. But they had been around a while, and Jerry had introduced a new character, Power Girl,
Mm.
who turned out to be Superman's cousin, I think. Yes, Superman's cousin. So this hot little blonde is coming in with all of these old guys, and they're the new superhero group. And part of our group, part of the people who were working on this, Bob Layton was inking JSA, and he suggested that Power Girl might be awfully left out in the cold, just kind of younger and brighter than the older guys in the group. And he suggested maybe there should be another younger woman that Power Girl could pal around with,
Yeah.
and have girl talks, that sort of. So he Bob got us all convinced that there should be another girl there, And it came to Paul Levitz. Paul was the writer. He was thinking of what he would come up with the new character to take that place. And as far as Bob had thought about, he just got up, Batgirl. That's as far as he got, I think. And but Paul never liked Batgirl.
Oh.
I was always fine with Batgirl. She was cute. She was very uh, part of Gotham City, the whole thing. But Paul thought Batgirl was kind of a throwaway from the TV show. That if it wasn't of Yvonne Craig, there's really no point to Batgirl unless it's Yvonne Craig.
Fair
And,
enough.
and Paul didn't get past that. And at the time, Jeanette Kahn, who was the publisher, would occasionally have group meetings at her apartment in Manhattan where people would play board games and hang out, people from the company. And while Paul was talking this out one night, uh, the colorist for the project, Anthony Tolan, came in and says, well, there's always been this thing suggested between Catwoman and Batman. Uh, and if they got married, they could have a child who could take the place of a Batgirl type character, but something a little darker, a little more threatening, but a little cleverer. So that was where it all came together. And of course, at that point, the drawing came to me, and I worked up the costume and the movements and the crossbow, and Paul worked back and forth with me on that, and then I took it to Joe Orlando, who was our editor, and Joe was a great guy, and he worked with it on a bit, and that this huntress having that scalloped bat cape, that came from Joe. He thought she should not look like a Batman character, but she should have some reminiscence of the Bat characters.
Yeah.
So it all came together. It was a lot of us. It all came together to make the Huntress, and she seemed to fit in very well and to take off pretty well.
And she survived throughout all these years. Like we still have content with Huntress included, which is amazing to me because she was one of my favorites as a kid. So that's
I'm glad of that. I'm pleased to see that she survives one way or another.
exactly. Well, here's a question that we always end on here on our We Interview series, and it's what is one happy memory in your time working in your industry that will always stay with you as a happy memory?
Oh my goodness, as a happy memory. Um, it's basically just working with fun people. I was Alan Brenner is talking on Facebook about how he worked on the autobiography of Bruce Wayne, and that working with Alan, that was a really great time. Um, and that tied into the whole Huntress mythos because it was about the wedding of Batman and Catwoman. So I think the thing, and when I did the origin of the JSA with Paul Levitz, and where Superman flew into the sky and saved FDR at the White House from having a Nazi airplane drop an A bomb on the White House. So that was good. So I am always up for things like that. Just working with good people, having a good time. I enjoyed it.
That's so cool. And you've had such an iconic career, and you've worked with so many different people and so many different heroes and so many different versions of these companies. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. We want to thank you again for joining our series. It's been amazing to talk about your work and the characters. You guys can all see Joe's work. We'll have links to all of the websites and all of the different characters in the description. But thank you so much for your time.
Remember, I do have a website, so
Mhm.
yeah, so
We'll
put,
get it in there.
send them in there. Okay.